And of course, while all of the mid-deck experiments are ongoing, we heard just a few minutes ago Mario Rocco calling to Eileen Cohen, noticing that the orbiter is in the maneuver. That maneuver is in preparation for the next data take using that small telescope that Steve Hawley will be using throughout the flight, the Southwest Ultraviolet Imaging System, SWIS as it's known by its acronym. The data take that's upcoming that the orbiter is being maneuvered for is so that he can try to put the telescope on a view of Venus in order to document and track the middle atmosphere dynamics of Venus using the ultraviolet instrument as part of the telescope. And of course, while all of these experiments are ongoing and monitored from the flight control team here in Houston, the team up in Cambridge, Massachusetts is standing by for the very important upcoming burn of Chandra's thruster jets to start raising the orbit of the Chandra X-ray Observatory, which is deployed from the shuttle on flight day 1. So we'll switch the satellite up there for the next several minutes so that we can get continuous updates on the progress of preparations for that burn and also get data on the result of that burn. This is Mission Control, Houston.
Somebody Houston, no need to reply. Heads up for Steve. Venus is a waning crescent at this point in time, just to help you facilitate your search for it. Okay, Mario, thanks. Heads up.
This is Chandra Control Cambridge. For the next several minutes, the signal you will be seeing is coming from the Operations Control Center in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where the flight team is now awaiting the initiation of the first integral propulsion system burn. That's expected to occur in just a few minutes at about 11 minutes after 9 o'clock, so we're roughly 4 to 5 minutes away from that burn. The integral propulsion system on board Chandra has 4 liquid apogee engines, 1 primary pair and 1 redundant pair. Each of the engines has 105 pounds of thrust apiece. They're fueled with hydrogen and nitrogen hydroxide. At this point, all systems are ready to go for that burn, and it will be coming up shortly. We'll be keeping you up to date here from Chandra Control, Cambridge. This is Chandra Control, Cambridge. Flight Director Jay Ongen has just reported that we're 3 minutes away from the start of the integral propulsion burn.
Amateur radio in human spaceflight will continue the fine traditions set by Shuttle and Mir on board the International Space Station. This will make amateur radio on the International Space Station for errand projects. Like hardware for errand, the customer is prepared to the island. Thanks, Eileen. Calendar here. We will start regular status day reports for lunar after launch. After launch. Status information. Mail list. Radio. Got amateur. The newest and latest Keplerian element. Notice that most pre-launch orbital elements comes from right after orbit excursion.
This is Chandra Control, Cambridge. In the next couple of moments, the integral propulsion system burn number 1 will begin. During the course of this burn, we will be intermittently showing you
Checking all stations. This is Cambridge. We're only on status check.
Strictly a graphic representation.
4.49 megahertz. Downlink 145.80 megahertz. You should run on 144.49 megahertz uplink and 145.80 megahertz.
This is Chandra Control, Cambridge. You're now seeing a computer animation, a graphic representation of where Chandra is located in its orbit around the Earth. Again, this is strictly an independent animation, not telemetry driven at this particular point. Burn is just a few seconds away. Flight operations team reports that the firing of the engines on board the Chandra X-ray Observatory has begun. The firing will last for approximately 5 minutes. Tonight's burn is the first of 4 apogee burns to increase Chandra's perigee. There'll be 1 perigee burn to increase the spacecraft's apogee during the mission also. That burning at apogee is the best way to raise the orbit's perigee and vice versa. The burning at apogee and perigee also the most efficient way to utilize fuel. The integral propulsion system is incorporated into the Chandra X-ray Observatory, built by prime contractor TRW-Space and Electronics Group in Redondo Beach, California, and includes TRW's first dual-mode propulsion system.
Columbia, Houston, for Steve, we think that Venus is going to be really faint at this point in time. You might want to try focusing open loop for the decal. And we're going to be going to a teacher's handover in about 1 minute from now.
This is Chandra Control, Cambridge. Flight operations team is constantly monitoring the progress of the integral propulsion system burn. Report from the flight operations team is that all systems continue to function as expected. The flight burn is nominal at this point. Again, what you're seeing now is a computer graphic animation of the Chandra X-ray Observatory and its orbit around the Earth as the propulsion system burn continues. Again, we remind you this is not telemetry driven, but an independent animation of the actual burn itself. Again, the flight operations team at Cambridge, Massachusetts reports that the burn is going as scheduled. Chandra is performing beautifully at this point. This is Chandra Control, Cambridge. Flight operations team reports about 2 minutes left in the burn, still performing as expected.
Columbia, Houston, Eileen, we're locked up with you again.
Okay, I was just checking on that had copied your call about Swiss, and he had already completed that.
Okay, it's great when the crew's ahead of the ground team. And Colombia, Houston, caveat to my last, that open loop focus was applicable only for OB2 on the current run science plan.
This is Chandra Control, Cambridge. Less than 1 minute left in the integral propulsion system burn on the Chandra X-ray Observatory. All systems reported operating as expected. Many smiles here at the Operations Control Center.
Would work for any of the observations with no lens slot alpha. And copy, Steve, we're checking.
This is Chandra Control, Cambridge. About 30 seconds left in the burn of the integral propulsion system. Again, all things reported going extremely well. No problems aboard the Chandra X-ray Observatory. And the burn is completed. There is a bit of mini celebration going on here. You might hear the applause in the background as the senior management of the flight operations team celebrates the first of 5 burns of the integral propulsion system. It's an important step in the long journey that Chandra has been taking over the next 5 years. Shuttle, telescope, and NASA's family.
All right, Katie.
I'm answering a question from the uplink package, and this is about aerogel.
Okay, payload just listening, Katie.
Okay, MET at activation, the UK know, was 1 day, 07 hours, 58 minutes, and 40 seconds. And I took 4 of the 5 switches to OSS. I'm just going to give you an approximate, because I did not actually write it down. It's not down here to write down, but I would say it's about 8:04. And number 4, that module stayed on, and that was because the lights did not extinguish. I called that down to the ground, asked them whether they wanted me to turn that off or not. They never got back to me, so that switch stayed on, ON, all night, and I turned it off this morning at, let's see, would have been at 18:45.
Copy all, Katie, thanks for the update. And for Stevie, Steve, we think you're on the right track with operating the Swiss at the present. Okay, thanks.
This is Chandra Control, Cambridge. A lot of smiling faces here at the Operations Control Center in Cambridge, Massachusetts, because the first burn of the integral propulsion system has just completed. It started on schedule at 9:11 this evening.
You wanted the MET operation for freezing operation 1 and 2? Please, that was in the uplink package.
For point 12, freezing operation number 1, start at MET1/3:00, and completion is 1/3:09.
Okay, copy that, Michelle. Appreciate it.
And for point 12, freezing operation number 2, start at MET1/6:48, completion at 1/6:44.
Chandra Control, Cambridge.
648 for the start. I didn't copy the completion. I copied 6 blank and a 4.
Completion at 1/6:54.
Copy 5-4. Thank you.
wrap up our coverage of the first burn of the Chandra X-ray Observatory's integral propulsion system. Again, the happy faces here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Indications are that the first burn has gone as expected. There will be results coming through over the next couple of hours to verify the location of Chandra and the total success of the burn. But right now, all indications are that this burn of the propulsion system, the very first one of this propulsion system, was successful. The control team here in Cambridge includes members from NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory here in Cambridge, and TRW-Space and Electronics Group in Redondo Beach, California. For now, that will end our coverage of this first burn of Chandra's propulsion system. We'll be returning to Houston and the Johnson Space Flight Center. This is Chandra Control, Cambridge.
Colombia for Swiss. We appear to have Venus centered in the finder, although there's nothing visible on the PTSC monitor with its filter combination. We also seem to have some dark bands that are wandering across the field of view of the camcorder that I've never seen before. Didn't see them yesterday at all. I wondered if you guys had any idea what might be causing that. We're taking a look at it now, and you're suspecting that they're endemic to the camcorder itself? Well, the only thing I can say is I don't see them on the PTSC monitor, but I do see them in the camcorder viewfinder. Okay, copy. It looks like the sort of thing you see associated with the TV systems. I think you and I were talking about vertical hold yesterday. This would be more horizontal hold. I'm afraid that dial isn't there anymore either.
Listen to for break 12 statistic.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, the statistic of yesterday was made at 1/05 column 49. The temperature were for locker 28, template 1, 24, template 2, 23.
And we copy all, Michelle. Thank you.
And I have done just statistic now at 1/20 column 50. Temperature locker 24, template 1, 26, template 2, 26.
And copy, Michelle. Columbia, Houston, for Steve, what you might try at present is taking the filters out. You can either do that now or wait till sunset, and we'll leave that to your call. Okay.
This is Mission Control at Houston, back here in Mission Control after what apparently was a good thruster firing burn, orbit adjust burn for the Chandra X-ray Observatory. The next IPS burn for that observatory, of course, is about 24 hours away now. And we'll get some more updates from the Operations Control Center in Cambridge throughout the evening on the status and the health of the telescope as it continues on its way toward its operating altitude.
Houston, we have the status check temperatures for CCMC.
Fire away.
MEC 1/20:54:00, rail 1, 37.9er, rail 2, 38.0, rail 3, 37.0, Cambridge temp 16.3 centigrade, over.
Copy all, Eileen, thank you.
This is WA3NAN with an update on STS-93 SAR information.
Clear caution warning.
STS-93 is the 25th and final flight of the Space Amateur Radio aboard the Space Shuttle. Amateur radio in human spaceflight will continue to bind.
So while all activities with Chandra appear to be continuing to go smoothly, the flight control team here
Space Station or ARIS project. Flight hardware for ARIS will be cleared to the ISS at the end of this calendar year. We will start regular status reports over after launch. We will copy status information on the SARX email list. We will also give you the new and latest Keplerian elements, noting that both pre-launch orbital internet will put right after orbit insertion. On this mission, there will be more maneuvering and the elevation that will be given will be the R4 estimate. This describes the orbit during the time frame when flight contact and most of the amateur radio operations will happen. Packet 144.49 megahertz, downlink 145.80 megahertz. On 144.49 megahertz uplink and 145.80 megahertz. The world outside of Europe, voice frequencies are 144.47 and 144.5 megahertz for uplink. with 145.80 megahertz for downlink. Full contact can be heard on the downlink at 145. Right then, I do.
Hey, let's go.
Please do not transmit on the uplink. This is WA3NAN.
On tractor, you have the NFC concern to proceed with the launch.
Colombia.
This is WA3NAN with an update on SARX information. STS, and thank you, Katie, appreciate it. This is WA3NAN with an update on SARX information. STS 9.
As we can hear from the crew members on board, they're continuing to work on various different activities. Steve Hawley, the flight engineer on board Columbia, continuing to work with the Southwest ultraviolet imaging system, a small telescope mounted in a side hatch window down on the middeck, and he is in the process of trying to get a data take using that telescope of Venus to document and track the middle atmosphere and dynamics of the Venusian atmosphere using the ultraviolet system as part of this small telescope. As soon as he's finished with this data take, Eileen Collins will perform a maneuver of the orbiter to the next viewing position for that small telescope. That next viewing position is to look at the area around the planet Mercury to try to search for what's called a hypothesized volcanoid, a small body population that's interior to Mercury's orbit. All of the activities that the crew members are performing are part of their on-orbit timeline, which is uplinked to them every day as part of what's called the execute package. The crew members get a detailed timeline to help them work through the workday. That detailed timeline is registered in mission elapsed time, meaning from the time that the mission begins with launch. The crew members don't tell time on orbit using a watch, they tell time using mission elapsed time. And that's spelled out for them in their daily mail, which is, again, uplinked to them as part of the execute package, which is put together by the planning team while the crew is asleep. Those pages that the crew members are following can also be followed by those here on the ground or the general public by going to the NASA website that is dedicated to spaceflight.
I'll let you know that Outlook is closed and the office come up and grab those anytime.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, probably already did, and the next time, seconds anyway.
And copy, Katie, thank you.
Again, that website that folks can go to follow along with that is at the NASA website for spaceflight. That's spaceflight.nasa.gov. By navigating from that side over to the shuttle portion of the website and then over to the timeline section. And that will allow folks on the internet to look at the crew's workday as it's spread out per crew member throughout the day. Again, spread out by crew member and by task and by hour, so that folks can follow along with the astronauts' workday aboard Columbia for STS-93.
Columbia Houston for Katie. Could you check on the OTA machine if KFX is running? We have got green lights down here, but we don't see it running up here.
And can we just have someone still use an Outlook, so we'll get things squared away and we'll give you a call in a minute.
Copy, thanks.
Retransmitting live air-to-ground shuttle communications of this space shuttle mission. This is Whiskey Alpha 3 November, Alpha November.
Maneuvering the most